Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be building this stand for your outboard motor. In this case, I got a 15 horsepower Mercury on here that my dad gave me. I need to keep this thing stored for the winter and I didn't want to keep it lying down. It's a nice, easy build. I'm going to show you how to build this thing almost entirely out of 2x4s in a matter of an hour. If you have an outboard and you have a need for one of these, I'm going to give you the cut list and everything you need to know in order to build it. Also, just so you guys know, I will have links to everything I use to build this, as well as a few other things down in the description. And I really appreciate you guys subscribing, liking, leaving comments, doing whatever it is you can to help me out a little bit with these videos. All right, let's jump into this, guys. Okay, to get started with our outboard motor mount, we're going to start off by ripping down a bunch of stock. Now, I'm making this whole thing so you can make it all out of 2x4s, and I'm going to give you a cut list with the dimensions to get to the exact same size for the outboard stand that I'm building. But I don't have any 2x4s on hand, but I do have a lot of scrap 2x10s. Those were all leftover cutoffs from stringers that I just made for a set of deck stairs. So I'm going to start off by cutting these 2x10s down to 2x4s, and once I have all my stock cut, then we'll meet back up for the next step. Okay, so for the vertical part for the back, we're going to want the 32-inch long pieces and the 23-inch long pieces. So we're going to clear out these other ones for a minute. All right, so we have all of our pieces for the vertical part here. I'm going to go ahead and lay out two uprights. Make sure we kind of cover up that knot. Now I want to make this look pretty neat because I'm going to keep this as a permanent outboard stand that I'm going to keep up at my cabin to help store a couple of small outboards during the winter months. So I'm going to just try to make sure that I have the layout for the screws all placed evenly and symmetrical from side to side so everything looks nice and neat. You can totally skip this step and just fire in the screws wherever you want. I'm also going to countersink all the holes. Not necessary. Again, just makes it look a little bit cleaner. Alright, another unnecessary step that I'm going to be taking is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw some wood glue on here as well, just to help this give it a little bit of longevity. If you are going to use wood glue, if you're using pressure treated wood like I am, make sure that you're using a glue that is okay with moisture. Ideally, you'd be using some type of polyurethane glue or construction adhesive. In this case, I'm just going to be using some waterproof wood glue, which will work perfectly fine. Alright, with the two vertical legs ready to go, put the cross brace that's going to serve as the motor mount on the top. Now, the way I'm going to set this up is the motor is going to mount to this side, so most of the time you're not going to see this side of the board. So I am going to put the worst side of the board facing this direction. some glue on here. Okay, we have the vertical part already assembled, super quick. Now we're going to start to build the part that's going to stick out the front, that's going to stabilize the whole mount. Okay, so for this part, you want the two 20-inch pieces and one of the three, I think it was 23-inch pieces. I'll measure it real quick. So here's the two 20-inch pieces, and these are going to be like this. Okay, and then one of the three longer pieces, sorry, 24-inch pieces. And I'm gonna, so these three pieces, one of them's gonna go across the front here like this, and then the other two, one's gonna go across the back, and then the other one's gonna go across the top. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna give a place for the hand cart that I'm gonna push this on to rest against without hitting up against the motor. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that the pieces that are facing outwards look as nice as they can. So this one I think is going to be the bottom one in the back because it's the worst looking one, but this one looks pretty good. So this one will be going right here. Now the other thing that I'm going to be doing to help stiffen all this up is I cut these little 90-degree triangles. They're going to be going in each of the corners right here to stiffen everything up. And you can kind of see what that's going to look like really quick. It's going to go right in there like that. And that's really going to help stiffen everything up and keep this really strong. And that's a little bit off, but we should be able to pull that over. And that side looks good. Alright, now we got to attach the base to the vertical portion. Thought I was going to get all fancy here and drill some pocket holes, but I think I'm just going to drill that in on an angle there, and that's going to be completely fine. Alright, the back side got pulled apart somehow here. I was going quick. I'm just going to take a clamp and clamp it in so that we can get this cross piece right in between here, nice and snug. You can see it's like 1/8 of an inch off right now. All right, next we're going to put 2 braces across the back, which are simply for the hand cart. So I'm going to lay this down on my workbench like that and take my last 2 24-inch pieces. One's going to go across the bottom like so, and then the other one is going to go across the top. Now, for this bottom one, what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to put it completely flush with the bottom. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to move it up about 1/8 of an inch on both sides. And the reason for this is when I'm taking the hand dolly and I'm sliding the metal plate under here, if this is a little further off the ground, it's going to make it a little easier to get in there. Now, the reason why I left that one flat to the ground is I did want this full base to have full contact with the ground all the way around, just to make sure it was as stable as possible. But I think with having this have a little bit of gap, that will give me enough room to get the cart under there a little bit, and then I'll have some leverage to push it forward to get the cart under the rest of the way. Okay, now for this top cross brace, I am not putting it all the way up to the top, because when you put your motor on, that's where you're going to be clamping your motor down so that it doesn't come off. If this was all the way up here, it would get in the way and you wouldn't be able to put your motor on. So this would be, you should measure this specific to your motor. I know in my case, based off of this 2x10, as long as I'm below the 2x10, this is not going to get in the way and it will provide plenty of support for the hand cart. So in this case, I'm going to line it up right across the bottom of the 2x10 and glue and screw that on there. Okay, now we're on the last step. The last step is super simple. All we're going to do is take the two remaining pieces that were cut at 45 degrees and we're going to put these on right like so. And that's just going to make sure that this can't move forward or backwards at all, and it will stiffen everything else up to make it perfect for our 15 horse motor. Okay, that's it. Let's bring this up to the garage, throw the motor on it, and see how it works. All right, get ready for a great laugh. Besides wearing some terrible footwear here with these Crocs, you're going to notice here in a second that is, as soon as I pick this thing up and try to put it on the mount, I actually left one of the mounting bolts almost fully closed, which made it very, very difficult for me to get this on top of the stand. The other thing is I didn't notice that this motor came with a handle, which would have made it a lot easier to hold it on the front side there, but unfortunately I did not notice that until after I had the motor on the mount. And here you can see me struggling tremendously because of that mounting bolt. Okay, that works really good, nice and sturdy. Definitely is not going to flip over any direction. We'll go get the hand cart and see how that works with it. All right, I went and I grabbed the hand dolly just to see how the dolly was going to work with the motor stand, and I have to say it works perfect. It literally just fits, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Give you guys a look at that now. All right, so here's the motor on the stand with the dolly on it, and you can see that I have the motor skewed, and that's obviously because if all of this stuff here with the tiller handle was sticking out, there's no way that this cart would get on here. Now you can see I have just enough room where I can get my cart so that I have good contact, and I'm not putting any pressure on anything from the motor. This is just the pull cord, but you can see everything works as it should, gets right under there, and this is going to be hard to kind of film this with one hand and pull this up, but here we go, give it a shot. There we go. Everything works as it should. All right, so there we have it. We have our outboard motor mount. It's going to end this video. I hope to see you guys on the next one, and I really appreciate you watching. Thank you.